Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and yes, we're back once again with a delicious Rangers rumour. That's how we're starting the week off, ladies and gentlemen, and just like buses, we waited so long for a Rangers striker link. Now two comes back to back right here on the channel. We talked about Big Des last week. Now it's time to talk about someone who will probably be known as the Moses of Rangers links, ladies and gentlemen, because he's going to part this blue sea of Ibrox right down the middle, because this is easily, hands down, the single most interesting player profile I've ever done, people. And the longer I've looked at this laddie, the more my opinions have changed, and I think the longer you watch today's video, your opinions will change from here, there and everywhere, and I don't know where you'll land, people. Easily going to be one of the most interesting comment sections I've ever done the longer you'll watch the video. But before we do go any further on, as always, we are trying to reach 60,000 subscribers. We are less than 1,400 away now, ladies and gentlemen. We are absolutely smashing it on our way to the journey to 60k. So if you could help the channel out, that would be absolutely sensational by either subscribing if you're new, or if you're already subscribed, hit that like button. It helps other people find the channel. Or if you want to wait to see if this video is worth hitting a like for, that's completely fine. Let's go ahead and try and earn that like. And as always, this is our Rangers rumour video. If you've never seen these before, we'll discuss the rumour itself, we'll discuss the player, and we'll discuss whether we believe the rumour to be true, and obviously try to figure out if it should be. And as always, we'll start off where we always start, ladies and gentlemen, and that's of course the player profile. Sam Lammers, or Big Lammy as I'm probably going to refer him to for the rest of today's video, because this guy is a tall drinky water, people. He stands at 6'3", right up there. He's a Dutch striker. He is 26 years old, and he spent the last couple seasons playing in the Serie A after joining Atlanta from Dutch football, and he's played with them, had a couple loans which we'll speak about in the next little bit. However, we are obviously talking about the player profile right now. So what type of player is he? We've mentioned he's big. He's a big, tall, drinky water. Is that the style that we're bringing in then? Is there another Dessers that we spoke about last week? Big, physical, bring others in? No, really that way. If you look at Sam Lammers, or Big Sammy as we're going to call him, sorry, and what he brings to the table is his technique and skill on the ball. He's primarily a left-footed player, but he's very comfortable on his right as well. He's able to work it either way, and I think that flexibility is why he always looks so skillful and looks so dangerous. When this guy at his best, he can embarrass some defenders by the way he can flip it from foot to foot. Again, he's not the most physical player. I wouldn't say he's anything like Dessers and how they build up or how they play. Dessers a back to the goal type player in tight areas. Sam Lammers likes to get on the ball, likes to drift wide, especially cut inside and try to make things happen that way. And you might be thinking to yourself, if you've not seen this rumour, or if you've not seen anything about this lad, you're going back, you're hearing this tall, skillful, very technical, can beat people, creative, if you will. What's not to like here, CJ? Well, that's him at his absolute best, ladies and gentlemen, and he's no there very often. I certainly didn't want to be saying that with someone that's been heavily linked with the football club, people, but again, we try and discuss the truth right here on the channel and get to the nitty gritty. When this guy burst onto the scene 5 seasons ago in Dutch football, he was spoken about as being the next big export from that league. He was expected €8 million was paid for him. He was expected to kick on and no beating around the bush, people. He's not done that at all, and the longer you watch again the video, the more that story will unfold. Because we mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, he is a striker, or striker by trade. For me, he's more of an attacker, and I think once we get to the competition for places, I've got a couple interesting ideas of what I think this player could be for us. But of course, he is listed as a striker. That's where he's played the majority of his games in his career. And what's the single most important role a striker can do for your football club? Score goals. This guy just doesn't do it, ladies and gentlemen, as I can't put clinical or I can't put complete anywhere near this lad's name, and that gives us the natural progression in to the old football and stats, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll look at his most recent season and we'll work our way back, because you might be finding that's very harsh. CJ, why are you saying that? We're linked with this guy, we're expecting this. I've got to tell you the truth, people. This guy does not put the ball in the back in it anywhere near the way he should be, especially when you start getting into, I hate this stat, people, and I never really talk about it on the channel, but the expected goal stat compared to what he's actually done over the last 4 seasons is honestly a disgrace. But as I don't like that stat, ladies and gentlemen, we won't get folded into that. Instead, we'll just look at his most recent season of football, where he spent it on loan to Sampdoria. I can't pronounce the name properly, but they finished bottom of the league. And Big Sam, he didn't help. Because he played 34 in all competitions and scored just 2 goals and grabbed just 2 assists. 4 goal contributions in 34 games. People, yes, he didn't start a large majority of these games, but he was given enough minutes, and that output is nowhere near enough what you're expecting of a player that was talked about as heavily as he was just a few years ago. But again, you might look at that and say, everybody has bad seasons, CJ. Everybody has bad moments. We might benefit from the fact that he's had a poor season. Well, let's go back to the season before then, shall we? When he was away to the Bundesliga on loan at Frankfurt. And no, I'm not talking about it, because he didn't play versus us. He was an unused substitute on that day, but he did play a total of 24 games for Frankfurt that season, in which he scored 2 goals and grabbed 0 assists. The season before, people, at Atlanta, where again they are a very attacking side, they create a lot of chances. They are a very exciting side to watch, especially during those couple years. He played a total of 18 times for Atlanta that season. Just in the comment section, if you're still watching, guess how many he scored that season. I'll give you a few seconds. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he scored just 2 goals that season as well. That is 3 seasons in a row this lad has scored just 2 goals all season long. Or if you want it in the numbers, just to really give you an eye-opener, that is 6 goals scored in his last 76 games playing as a striker. That there is terrifying, and it's why I talked about there will be splits. You'll start here, you'll maybe move here, you'll move over the shop, ladies and gentlemen. But thankfully, and I mean thankfully, we can go back the season before where he finally scored more than 2 goals a season. Do you want to guess how many he scored, people, that year? 3. That's 9 goals, people, in his last 86 games in all competitions. Remember earlier when I said, didn't judge me too harshly, I think I've been too critical when I say this lad isn't clinical. I think you can see why I've actually said that, and what's worrying, ladies and gentlemen, is that's a couple penalties chucked in there, a part of that 9. You take them away, it's even worse looking at it, and that's what's so damn interesting about this player profile. And it's why I've actually wanted to take my time and really get into this, because I know I could have jumped out it very early and flung a bit here and that, but I wanted to know what is actually going on, because you see so much about this lad and so much praise and so much plaudits given, but then you see the output. And again, this is probably a wee friendly reminder to everyone that starts, didn't always tell you everything about a player, because despite everything I've said and some of the things I've talked about, what I've actually found in these games, he's actually been playing well in certain matches and just not getting his end product. He's been creative, maybe let doing by teammates, or as I've mentioned there, letting himself down in front of goals. It's not as if he's been terrible in his last 86 games. He has had some very good matches. He's just not put the ball into the back of the net, which again is kind of the striker's role, but I'm trying to be fair and trying giving you all the information. But it's also a wee thing as well to look at is why this laddie got that £8 million move. It's no, or €8 million, sorry, move to Atlanta. It wasn't because of these types of seasons. It was 5 seasons ago when he had clearly his best season of football in Dutch, when he really started to explode and again got all those plaudits, grabbing 24 goal contributions in 35 games in Dutch football. That's when he earned his money move, and that's when he was expected to kick on. But over the last 4 seasons, ladies and gentlemen, he has not came close to being that player that Atlanta thought they were buying. But to treat the man fairly, let's finish off his football CV the same way we discuss everyone else. This lad has played 222 top flight matches in his career. Again, no youth level or reserve league stuff. In that time, he has 61 goals to his name and 18 assists with 7 yellow cards. He doesn't really put himself about, and it's not something I've really talked about. Again, he is so skillful, he is so technical, and sometimes you watch him and see some of the things that said about him, you say, right, I see it, and then you see him in front of goal and you're like, what is actually happening right there? Have we no lost enough balls for Ryan Kent cutting inside, hitting the bar? Why are we doing it? Again, that's kind of how I feel in there. And if I'm honest, I didn't feel right giving you those stats right there. You know, that footballing CV we just talked about, because I feel like I need to put a wee bit of an asterisk next to that. Because again, I try and tell you the truth, try and give you all the information. Well, there's a large, there's 30 odd goals and everything like that. It's included in that in terms of the second division in Dutch football. If I take just the second division and if I just look at the top divisions that this laddie has actually played in, he has played 126 games in the top divisions around Europe, Serie A, Dutch football, and obviously the Bundesliga, in which he has 31 goals and 15 assists. That's also including games where he's played in European football as well, Europa League, Champions League qualifier, Champions League, he's got one game in there. So that's his true definition of the stats. I think his goals get a wee bit boosted because of what he was doing in the second division of Dutch football. That's what he's done when he's been given the opportunity to play at the highest leagues. And again, to be fair to him, he is playing in tough leagues. He's been learning and playing in tough environments. Bundesliga, Serie A, Dutch football where he started off, of course. So if you look at it that way, he has obviously got 46 goal contributions in those 126 games, meaning he's averaging a goal or assist every 2.7, 2.8 games in his career, which again isn't great, but you look at the level that he's playing at, and the best thing you can say about him is he's had the chances, he's been in the areas, and he should have been doing a lot better. His stats should be a hell of a lot better. He's just went to Italian football, and I don't know if it's a loss of confidence or a loss of belief in his ability, but he's not been the same type of player in front of goal as he used to be early on in his career, where he was so calm, he was so confident. He snatches at his chances now in front of the goal. He'll do everything well and up to it. He'll beat people for fun. He'll skill this guy, skill. Then you see him in front of goal, and again, double Z's getting smashed every time. So it's a very, very interesting player profile. It's a very, very interesting player. And that leads me to the competition for places, because do I look at Big Lammy, if you will, and think this laddie's going to be playing centre forward for us in the games? I didn't think so, people. Could I see us maybe move him, maybe to, remember what we've done with Kamal Roof under the year we won the league title, where we had someone out right, playing right close to the striker, and he cut in and he was creative and he was doing things that way. Can I see this laddie doing that role? I think he'd actually excel in that area, being able to go out wide, drift forward, create people, beat people, if you will, create opportunities that way. I think that would maybe suit his game better. So do I think he's coming in as a Rangers number 9, leading the line week in and week out? I just didn't think so, because it doesn't make sense. No, like a Dezer who holds up, plays in tight areas. I can see that and envision that happening, but where I see him out wide, maybe on a Kamal Roof role in that formation, cutting in and trying to be creative, yes, I could see that happening, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably where, if he does come up the road to Rangers, I can see the laddie playing out wide, cutting in, trying to create that way. So ladies and gentlemen, we might have a Ryan Kent replacement in more ways than one. Again, I wouldn't necessarily say they're the same type of winger player in, because again, he's no a winger, but in terms of assets and what they bring to the game, being able to beat people, there is some similarities there, and we're obviously going to be lacking that player to take someone on and create now. Could Big Lammy be that guy? It could be, ladies and gentlemen. That's just how I feel about the laddie. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below, because this for me is so damn interesting, especially with the moolah that we're expected to pay for this laddie. Now, do I believe this rumour to be true? If I'm honest, yes, I do, and I think that's why I've took a lot of time and why I've really dived in, because I've wanted to understand it, because there is so many red flags about that. But there is a very, very talented player. I mean, Cantwell joined this football club having not scored goals in 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. Right, we've got him back. We've brought in the likes of Butland, who hasn't played a lot of football, and we're hoping he kicks on. It seems to be that Michael Beale is the I can fix him style manager, and he's trying to get players who are maybe doing in their luck, doing in terms of their value, but has massive upside and has shown potential in their career. And that's maybe what he sees. He maybe looks at Lammers and say, I can done it with Cantwell, I'm going to do it with Butland, I'm going to do it with Dowell, I'm going to do it with Lammers. This could be another option, another chance for us to take someone who maybe is doing in the gut right now, no fill him with confidence, and put him in an area where the competition for winning, chances to win, he'll get more of the ball, more opportunities to be where he is. He's not playing for a relegated side in Serie A. Can we get him back to what he was early on in his career? Clearly, Michael Beale thinks so if he signs on the dotted line, and I certainly hope so, because there has been points, and I've looked at this lad and the stuff I've read and went, by God, that looks great. It's just all the other cloud that confuses me. So, that's my honest opinions on this. I'm really split in the middle with this one. If we can get him to his best, phenomenal player it could be for us, but it's just getting him there. So That's how I feel as I run out of breath. So for my own health and safety, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end the video right there. I wouldn't be surprised to see me in a couple of days, ladies and gentlemen, talking about this lad and saying that he's signing and holding up the shirt. But that shows how I feel about him. What about you? Is Lammers the type of player and personality and quality that we need added into this team if we want to go on and become what we can become or win what we want to win? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, until there is real news out there, ladies and gentlemen, we will be discussing it right here on the old channel. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I've been CJ 992 and bye.